Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to my channel. My name is Joanna. If this is your first time watching, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time and your energy. And I do hope that you get something from this transmission. The energy is amazingly giddy and powerful. So you might get infected a little bit with that energy. If you choose to stay, I would love for you to share this channel or this video with another person who you feel might benefit from feeling better in some way, shape, or form. So thank you so much for being here. If you are a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much again for being here. Without you, I wouldn't do this, and I absolutely love what I do. And if you ask what it is that I do, I don't necessarily channel, I simply transmit source energy. Not because I'm special, not because I've done something right, not because I've begged for it, not because I was awarded, not because I was chosen, simply because I remember you're the same way. So my job, if you will, is to simply help you remember. So thank you so much for being here. Let's talk about what is going on in the world. Well, you probably know there's lots of things going on in the world, but let's talk about our internal world. There's a lot of stuff going on and happening around, and that may make us feel a little bit unstable. So you are likely someone who's feeling a little bit unstable right now. And I'm going to offer you information and guidance to help you understand what's going on and also what you can do about it, how you can ease this process. Because as you all know, we are moving through a massive shift of consciousness. We are in transition, and not everyone is able to make sense out of this. But this higher consciousness, this wave of higher consciousness is less about making sense and more about feeling it in the body. So in order to be vibing in 5D, if I can use that analogy, we have to be more in our bodies. And most human beings, sometimes myself included, I'm not in my body, I'm in my head. And the head is a funny thing. The intellect is a beautiful tool, but it's very short-sighted. It's very nearsighted. It can only see certain perspectives, but we are beyond our human mind. We are so much more powerful, so much greater than the human mind tells us. So nothing wrong with the human mind, but it is based on conditions and it is conditioned through societal programming. But we are more than our conditioning and more than our programming. So my job is to literally remind you that you are not your mind. You have a mind. You are not your body. You are not your limitations. You are so much more than that. And when you begin to embody this remembering, something amazing happens. They're saying, describe to them what happens. You start living and stop apologizing. You start living and you stop apologizing for being yourself. Let this land on you. So, first, let's talk about who you are if you're here watching this, because this transmission summoned you, if you will, energetically speaking. There is something within this frequency that your soul recognizes or recognized, and it kind of pointed you in this direction. So whether you are a regular subscriber, regular viewer, or whether you just happen to stop on this transmission, your soul has called you to this space at this particular time, at this specific time, because there is something with this transmission that will move you and move through you. So it's less about what I'm going to say, it's more about how you feel when I'm speaking to you. So I would invite you to be more present in your body and try to not get caught up in making so much logical sense in terms of what I'm saying. So if you are watching this, if you are here, then you are very likely someone who is not looking for surface level comfort. You're seeking truth. Not the type of truth that someone tells you this is what truth is, the type of truth that lives inside of you. The ultimate truth is that we are all part of oneness. That is the ultimate truth. And the other part of that truth is that oneness, God, source, field, whatever you want to name it, its essence is unconditional love. So if you are here watching this, you are aligning yourself with more unconditional love. What does that mean? Love without conditions. Most humans don't know what unconditional love is. It's just a human thing. Also, most humans are terrified, and I mean terrified, of being unconditionally loved. Why? Because it exposes the ego. There is nowhere to run. You're fully seen, fully vulnerable. And that is a pill to swallow for many of us, myself included. I have been held in unconditional love by higher consciousness, and it pained me to be loved this much. It was painful because all the feelings and beliefs and limitations that I put on myself, that I'm not a person, that I'm not a worthy person, that someone like me cannot be unconditionally loved, went to shits. First, it stared me in my face, and then it went to shits. To be unconditionally loved this much, literally what happened is my identity got obliterated. Some call it ego death. It is often a painful death, not in physical form, but energetic, because to be loved unconditionally is massive, massive amount of frequency. And the nervous system is not used to processing that much frequency. So fears come up. But you are here seeking truth, not the truth that someone else tells you, the truth that lives inside of you. So if you're watching this, you're a seeker of deeper truth. Those who are seekers of deeper truth are trailblazers of consciousness, which means, in simple terms, you are here to embody first unconditional love and then radiate it out into the world. That's how healing happens. Healing doesn't happen because you heal something that's broken. Healing happens when you realize that there is nothing to heal, that you are whole. You are not broken. You are not a mistake. You are an integral part of universe. And there is nothing and no one like you. You have a very unique signature. This is how Source experiences life through you. So not only are you unconditionally loved, you are an integral part of the universe itself, which means you are that important. But not in the ego sense, oh, look at me, I'm important. It's the recognition that you are important simply because you are, without conditions. Many of you listening to this are healing ancestral patterns, breaking karmic loops, reclaiming lost gifts without external permission. You are someone who is no longer asking for permission to be you. To be you is your natural state. What does it mean to be you? To be you in your fullness, not in your ego, but in your fullness, is to realize that you are source embodied. And since we talked about source as being unconditional love, you are unconditional loved and unconditional love having a human experience. You may not feel unconditionally loved because that's the programming, but underneath the programming is that truth. It's not something you believe, it's something you embody. That truth lives in your body. It already does. You don't have to seek it. You don't have to find it. You don't have to ask for it. You don't have to have permission for it. You don't have to be chosen. You don't need medals. None of that. You already are. But it's not believing it. It's embodying it. And when we embody this consciousness, we are embodying higher consciousness. To be in 5D, if I can use that analogy, is to embody higher consciousness. The knowingness, but it's not the head, it's in the body, the knowingness that you are part of and one with Source. There is no separation. The mind separates, the heart unites. So you are someone realizing that your mind, as useful as it is very limited. And in order for you to move beyond your perceived limitations, you have to get out of your limited mind. And when you get out of your limited mind and you go move back into your body, then you embody your unlimitedness while you are still having a human experience, which in many ways is very limited. That's the paradox. You're both limited and unlimited at the same time. It's not one or the other, it's both. You are a pioneer. You are not asking for permission to be true to you any longer. Not only that, you are deciding what is true for you. Not because someone tells you what truth is, but because you find it within. Truth doesn't live in the head, truth lives in the body. So in order for all of us to embody this truth, we have to be in our bodies. They're asking me to talk about the nervous system. In order to embody higher consciousness, our nervous system has to be able to withstand and higher frequencies. So if our bodies are not prepared and our nervous system is overrun by fear and limitation, when we begin to embody higher consciousness, our nervous system begins to act out. So this is likely what you're feeling right now: chaotic, irritable, anxious, can't sleep. That's your nervous system short-circuiting because it's not used to holding so much light. Okay. You're also someone who is building a world that hasn't been built yet. You are a pioneer. Pioneers have an interesting role because they bring something new to the world, and they have to be unconventional. Because if you are conventional, then you are not a pioneer. So you are likely someone who is unconventional in your thinking, in your doing, and in your knowing, which may make you a target for labels like you're strange, you're weird, you're woo, you've lost it. Pretty standard procedure. If you've been called that, just know that you're not alone. In fact, you're a pioneer, so you have a very important role to play. Pioneers often feel isolated because they represent something new and something different, and often something that is very uncomfortable at first. So if you are here watching this, listening to this, you are a pioneer, and your existence probably has been one of ups and downs in terms of the people that surround you. What do I mean by that? You might notice in your life, I've noticed this in my life, that I used to outgrow people very, very fast. And that has been that way ever since I can remember. And I used to think that there was something wrong with me. I was like, Joanna, what's wrong with you? Why are you outgrowing these people? And it wasn't something that I was thinking, it was something my body was telling me. Now, after all the years of digging out my scaffolding, shadow work, I understand why, because I too am in many ways a trailblazer. I'm here to bring forth new ideas, new ways of thinking, new ways of being, new ways of doing. Why? Because the world is ready for something new. And if you're listening to this, you know this in your bones. But it can be a lonely world sometimes and very isolating because your unconventional ideas may rub people the wrong way. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because it exposes their shadows. So some people may run from you and they may feel very uncomfortable with you because you are embodying higher truth, higher awareness. Not because you're better, not because you're less than, it's because you're a pioneer. Okay? You're likely someone who feels a lot more. You may not fully know what you're feeling, but you know that you're feeling something. You are someone who is like a sponge, energetic sponge. And being energetic sponge is not great, even though it is, being energetically sensitive is a gift, but just like anything, it's a double-edged sword. So you want to make sure that you practice really good energetic hygiene to make sure that you don't let any energies that will obstruct, is the word I want to use, what you're here to do and to be. And let's define what that is. What are we here? What are we doing here? What, as a pioneer, you're here to bring something new to the table. Some are going to like it. Some are going to hate it. Some are not going to know what to do with it. That's okay. If you think of Steve Jobs and what he brought into the world, which changed our world, he was a weird guy from my understanding and very, very, very difficult to work with. Nonetheless, he brought something that changed the world, and our world has never been the same. Doesn't matter where you go, in what part of the globe, when you show the apple symbol, pretty much everyone will know and understand what that is. That's how powerfully he has changed the world. Not by himself only, but he was a pioneer in many ways. You're also someone who's not repeating old templates. In other words, been there, done that, not interested, I want to try something new. Not necessarily because you don't agree with what has been, but you want something different. It is okay for you to want something different. It is okay for you to desire something that is not necessarily accepted by other people yet. You do not have to be a holy person in order to be a pioneer. You just have to be someone who is desiring on a soul level to want to experience a better life for yourself and a better life for the planet. If you're listening to this, that's you. Okay? You're builders of the new and architects of reality that begins in the unseen. You are likely someone who is very attuned to energy and frequency. Being a feeler, that's being very attuned to frequency. There is a whole bunch of things happening around us that we cannot see because it's on an energetic level. You may not see it, but you will feel the frequency, which makes you someone who is highly attuned to other frequencies. So it makes you someone who's quite sensitive. So if you're someone who is quite sensitive, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in a moment, you want to make sure that you protect yourself, but it's not you're protecting yourself from something bad. You're just shielding your own sensitive energy from distractions and denser frequencies. So, what is it that might be happening right now? Well, first and foremost, you might feel very chaotic. Your mind may feel very chaotic, flooded with fear-based thoughts, feeling like you're losing control, feeling overwhelmed by negativity, or struggling to cope. Let me just say this once again, you are not broken and you are not alone. These are all symptoms of embodying higher light, higher consciousness. So you're not going crazy, although let me tell you, there are moments where you likely are questioning your sanity. I promise you, you're not going nuts. If you're asking yourself the question, am I going nuts? You're very likely not going nuts, though it does feel that way sometimes. When you begin to see the unseen, at first your ego doesn't know what to do with it because it has no boxes for it. And not that long ago, you would be locked up for talking about seeing things that no one else can see. Now it's becoming much more available to us, like psychics, mediums, channelers. This is being put out there in the world more and more and more. So a lot more people are comfortable with the idea that there are things that are unseen, and some people can see it, some people can tune into it, some people can channel, whatever you want to call it, that's you. So, but at the very beginning, when you start waking up, you start to see things and your limited mind goes, what's wrong with me? Have I lost my mind? Am I going crazy? Am I schizophrenic? What is happening to me? Well, let me reassure you, nothing is happening to you. It's all happening for you. Why? Once again, you're a pioneer. When Einstein was working with his theories, he received a lot of downloads from his dream space. And I don't remember which equation. I think his famous work came from him having a dream. I believe it was a dream of meditation. So he was able to see things other couldn't see, and look what happened. He too changed the world. But at the very beginning, when you start seeing things, you might asking yourself, am I going crazy? I assure you, you are not. So trust me, I've been asking myself that question many, many, many times. Less frequently now, but I have been asking that question many times. So I know how it feels. It's very bizarre. And I remember actually driving one time and I called my partner and I said, I think I'm schizophrenic. And I remember he said, well, let's just say if you were really schizophrenic, you wouldn't ask the question. Now, I'm not making light of someone who actually have that condition. Please don't misunderstand me. I would never do that. It's not my style. But this is what I was asking myself. Okay. So what's going on? Your nervous system might be short-circuiting. You might feel agitated. You might feel angry. You might be needing to ask for external support. Someone like me, for example, or some other person, not authority, but a person who has gone through this experience or who is currently going through this experience and can hold your hand and reassure you that there's nothing wrong and offer you some tools, offer you information, offer you practices so that you can begin to integrate this into your body. Okay? And in order for your system to integrate into your body, you have to be feeling safe in your body. So first and foremost, you want to make sure that you take really, really, really good care of your body. There is some thoughts out there that body is unimportant, and it's, we have to don't pay attention to our body. I absolutely disagree with that. In fact, in order to embody higher consciousness, we have to be in our body. We have to be in our body. So taking care of our nervous system is really, really important. How do we take care of our nervous system? Few things. Create calm environment and allow room for space to be alone. Not because you're looking to isolate yourself, but because you need space to integrate. It's really important. Eliminate unnecessary distractions like TV, podcasts, especially the type of information that is creating more anxiety in your body. Just don't listen to it. I'm not saying be ignorant to what goes in the world, but at least do yourself a favor. And if you want to listen to that, by all means, but then create some pockets in your daily life when you can just come into your space and experience peace. Okay, there's a lot of violence happening in the world, and it's everywhere now that the internet is basically, everywhere. We can't escape what's happening in the world, but we can eliminate some of that distraction, the distraction, being distracted. Okay. Um, if you do want to watch TV, if you do want to watch a program, watch something funny like a comedy or something that makes you some kind of a film or movie that makes you laugh. Like, for example, I just went to a movie the other day. We went and I saw the show How to Train a Dragon. As many of you know, I absolutely love dragons. I work with dragon energy, and just that whole idea of that whole movie was just, I was just sitting and smiling with a huge grin on my face like a 5-year-old. If you want to watch something like that, go for it. Try not to numb your system. What you really need, what you want to do is you actually want to feel. And I know it's not comfortable feeling things that are not comfortable, but if we try to get away from the feeling too much, we're not able to process it. This is where shadow work comes in very handy. As many of you know, I call myself the expert of shadow work, not because I have a degree in shadow work, but because I've been integrating shadows for at least 20 to 25 years. I know it on my skin. I haven't read it, I haven't learned it. I speak from my experience. That's what makes me an expert. Okay? Feel your emotions. And again, this is a tough one because the moment we don't want to feel is the moment where we escape from our body and we go to our heads. But again, to embody higher consciousness, some call it 5D, whatever name you want to put on it, we have to be in our bodies. So allowing yourself to have space and room when you can safely, in a safe container, allow yourself to feel. You might need to reach out to someone who's going to help you process feelings and emotions. We're not meant to do this alone. We can't do this alone. It takes a whole village. So whether it's listening to these videos, whether it's asking for help from someone, whatever it is that you do to help you move through some of the denser feelings and emotions and energies, ask for help, don't be shy. And I always say, when you are ready and you say to the universe, I'm ready to process, the universe is always going to put things in front of you, whether it be people, videos, conversations such as this, books, people. The universe always listens, always listens. It may not deliver something to you based on what you're asking, not exactly, but it will absolutely deliver to you what you are needing. So you might not have been asking for this video and you got on this kind of like, let's see what she talks about. And this is exactly what you're needing. We are not used to feeling so much, especially all at once. And there's a lot coming up all at once. And I speak to my clients and my private mentorship members, and there is a lot of emotional volatility where one feels on cloud nine one day, and the next day they're tumbling down to their darkness, or even hourly. And that can be disconcerting because it can literally make you feel like going crazy. Again, I'm telling you, you're not going crazy. But if you need to go and have it checked out, by all means, do whatever is necessary to give you peace of, at least give you peace of mind that there's nothing wrong with you. Okay. However, if you're going to go and see a regular doctor and you start telling him or her that you are seeing things they cannot see, well, just you have to kind of weigh out the pros and cons. If it's someone who is very analytical and very in their thinking box, they might think that you're going crazy. So just be mindful who you say what to, not because you're hiding, but because you don't want to be pathologized. It's very easy to put labels on people about the things that we don't understand. There is so much going on in the world right now that we cannot understand with our little boxes because we don't have the boxes for it. Okay? Let's see, what else do I have? No numbing. Practice grace. Okay, this was an important one because I actually said, share with me, like when you say practice grace, what does that mean? So I'm just going to pull this up. And I'm going to share with you what my team meant when they said grace. So when my team said practice grace when the world is losing their mind, I said, well, what do you mean? Tell me what that means. First and foremost, grace is space. Grace is what allows someone to unravel without being judged for it. Is the space, is the pause before reacting when people around you are spiraling or attacking, projecting, overthinking. Grace lets you observe without absorbing. So that's one way of practicing grace. Another way of practicing grace is not matching distortion with distortion. In other words, if someone is lashing out from fear and you respond from fear too, that distortion doubles. You're just perpetuating the distortion. On the other hand, practicing grace is choosing not to add fuel to the fire, not out of passivity, but out of sovereignty. So, not reacting to other people's spiraling. Another way to practice grace is remembering soul behind the symptom. You are a soul having a human body. Remember that. You are not just a human. That person flipping out on social media, the one spiraling in anxiety, underneath it all, their soul is still perfect and intact, but their system is overwhelmed. Grace is the remembrance that the meltdown is not their totality or their identity. In other words, let's not label people. Let's not judge people. Easier said than done. Would you agree? Another way to practice grace is energetic compassion without enabling. It's not about tolerating abuse or staying in an unhealthy dynamics. It's about witnessing someone's breakdown without needing to fix them or take it personally. In other words, boundaries with love. That's grace. If someone abuses you and says they do it because they love you, that's not love. But it's also their behavior is not their totality. Okay? Grace is how the higher self responds when the ego screams. In times like these, when the collective ego is collectively screaming, make it make sense, help me understand. Grace is the whisper of truth that says, you are safe to not understand right now. Just be here. In other words, let's not try to understand and analyze and pathologize everything. Let's just take a deep breath, pause, and realize that there is so much more than what we are aware of. And sometimes what we are aware of we may not have the boxes for it. So try your best not to understand everything with your limitations, with your limited mind, and understanding that you're safe not to understand it right now. That's grace. So we have 5 points of practicing grace. We want to make sure we're not numbing. We want to feel our feelings. We want to create calm environments and space and room for not isolation, but allowing yourself to be with yourself. Eliminating unnecessary distractions, especially social media, television shows, news that are havoc to your nervous system. If your nervous system is already short-circuiting, and you turn on the TV and you hear all the terrible things that are happening in the world, that is not helping your nervous system. That is adding more agitation to your already short-circuiting nervous system. Your nervous system can only digest so much before freaking out. So if you're already under stress, adding more stress willingly and intentionally is completely unnecessary. In fact, I would say avoid it at all cost. I am not saying be oblivious to what's happening in the world. What I'm saying here is learn to manage your energies in such a way that you don't have to fall flat on your face because you're so exhausted and emotionally all over the place. Okay. Of course, drink lots of water. Um, some of the common experiences you also might be experiencing is racing or obsessive thoughts, intense emotions like fear, sadness, anger without clear cause. This is very often a sign of ancestral lineage type stuff coming up to the surface in order for it to move through your body to be cleared. Your job is to allow this process of integration. Okay. Fear is stored in our nervous system. If we live in fear all the time, our nervous system pays for it. There are many people in today's world, and I believe, I don't know exactly what the statistics are, but my understanding is that the level of prescription for anxiety type medication is through the roof. We have more technology, we have better ways of managing things, we have things that are doing things for us that 20 years we didn't even think it was possible, yet we're more stressed because we're consuming so much more information. So you want to make sure that you not eliminate what you are consuming entirely, but at least take it in small doses until your nervous system is healthy and safe enough so that you can then watch, if you want, things happening in the world. And it's not that you're not going to have compassion for it. Your nervous system is not going to be reacting to it. In other words, you will be far less triggered. Okay? You might be feeling disoriented, disconnected, or like you're not here. Again, that can be very disconcerting. I remember one time I was walking to a store and all of a sudden I felt I was in 2 different dimensions at the same time. It was confusing like hell. And I felt very unstable. So this is just a little bit of a warning that this is what you might be feeling. Again, that's very, very, very normal. Try not to pathologize yourself, or better yet, try not to have someone put labels on you. Because what we're going through right now has never happened, and there is no boxes for it. We are learning as we're going. Okay? Overwhelmed from daily tasks or social interactions. In other words, too much. If you feel like it's too much, give yourself permission to slow down, to take a break, to ask for help, to do something fun or something nice for yourself. One of the channelers who Daryl Anka channel, Bashar, I'm sure you probably have heard of him. He has one underlying very simple message. Do you want to be in fifth dimension? Do what brings you joy. It's such a simple concept, yet we have such a hard time doing it. Now, of course, if you're in the middle of war zone, I'm going to go create some joy. That's going to be difficult. I absolutely get it and I have compassion for it. But if you're not in such a space, but you are constantly watching things that trigger your nervous system, you're not doing yourself any favors and you're not doing those people favors because you're adding more of that jagged frequency. This world needs more peace, not more anxiety. So you adding anxiety to what already is very anxious and panicking, that doesn't help. So do yourself a favor, take good care of yourself. If you can do something fun for yourself, something that will bring you joy, it doesn't have to be anything big. Maybe you're just gonna go for a walk and talk to a tree and that brings you joy. I was walking, well, running like I do outside, and I went to my favorite tree and I hugged this tree and I said, "Thank you for being here." And I heard in my mind, "You're welcome. We're here for you." If I went to a regular doctor and said that, they would go, Joanna, we should think about what's going on over here. But I know better. I just know. Okay. Some of the things you can do, name it. Say loud the energy that's moving through you. If you're feeling fear, name it. I fear whatever it is and allow it to move through you. Just because your fear is arising doesn't mean there is something to fear. It's just arising within you because it wants to move through you. I said this at the beginning of 2025 that this 2025 is a massively pivotal year. I didn't quite understand what I was saying at the very beginning, but now I don't just get it. I get it. So everything is all of a sudden starting to make sense. And when I do my predictions, which I don't like doing, um, I never know. I get information, I put it out there and just see what happens. So interestingly enough, if you have one of the forecasts for 2025 from me, we're in mid-June now, go back and see what has changed from the first time you listened to it. Okay. Anchor to breath. 4-4-6 breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 6. This is going to bring you more calmness to your body and to your mind. I have never ever had a client or a member who said to me, Joanna, help me feel less calm, help me feel more agitated, help me feel more anxious. Who asked for that? Everyone wants to experience more peace. So bringing your awareness to your breath is very, very, very helpful. Thank you. They're reminding me things like breath work. I create breath work ceremonies. Powerful, powerful tool for moving energy through the body. You don't even have to know what you're moving through the body as long as you allow the body to process it. So breath, hugely important and hugely impactful. Not to mention that certain types of breath work stimulates or secretes spirit molecule, DMT in the body. DMT takes you into altered states. You don't need plant medicine for that. You can if you want to, but sometimes it's not advisable or practical. You can do it with your breath, just your breath alone. Ground. Sit on the floor, hold a stone, touch a tree, hug a tree, talk to a flower, pet your pet. It brings more soothing energy into your body. It grounds you. Let Mother Earth ground you. She's here for us. We're terrible to her, but she's here for us and she's constantly giving. Ask Mother Gaia to help you transmute some of that energy. Walk barefoot, walk on the grass, go with trees. Here's my cat. Yes, yes, we hear you. Um, get in nature. Water ritual. Drink water or shower with the intention to release excess energy. We already know, I'm sure you already know, intention is so powerful. So, so powerful. So drinking water and blessing it with your frequency or frequency of love or whatever frequency you want to bless it purely by intention, or having a shower and the intention of the water to be cleansing to you, that often is more than enough. Here's the thing. You have to believe it. But since you're a powerful being, since we've talked about it at the very beginning, of course it's possible. Voice it safely. Journal or speak your feelings to yourself or a trusted space. Most of the clients that I talk to and most of my members have no other people close to them that they can talk to about these things because they're all pioneers. Those of you who are working with me, watching this, and in my programs, you're all pioneers. There's a reason why your energy is connecting with your energy. Being able to voice, to process, to emote your feelings and emotions is very important, but do it in a safe container and safe environment. Okay, so that's it, I think, for this transmission. Let me know how you feel as you're listening to this transmission because it has a beautiful flow to it. I just love this energy. It's very soothing to me. So maybe you'll feel a little bit more soothed. Maybe something will come online and you'll have a moment of remembrance. Or maybe you feel nothing. Maybe you just feel peace. And down the road, 3 weeks from now or 3 months from now, something I say, you're going to remember. You're going to say, ah, that's what she meant. Because this transmission is seeding higher frequency into your energetic body. Not because I am forcing it on you, but because you are here being open to receive. And when you are open to receive, the universe gives. So thank you so much for being here. I look forward to hearing comments from you. I love every single one of them, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.